I'm Danny Weaver. These are my classmates Autumn Hardwell, Allison Mitchell, and Tony O'Rourke. We worked together to create a newscast for BPA, and we're here to show it to you today. Here's the tease that we posted on social media.
You wouldn't be wrong if you called this one of the strangest years in recent history. We have had to change nearly how we do everything. So what are small businesses doing to stay open during the pandemic? Would you be surprised to know that veterans are one of the groups that are at the highest risk for suicide? We will tell you how students at Lapeer County EdTech are working to change that. Stay with us as we tell you more on this latest edition of The Edge.
After that, we uploaded our newscast to different social medias.
Good afternoon. I'm Danny Weaver, and you're watching the BPA edition of The Edge. We all know someone who has served in the military, whether it be a friend or a family member. However, we are rarely educated about the problems those veterans face every day. Many of the people who serve in our military struggle with PTSD, depression, and suicide. Mission 22 is an organization that attempts to help those veterans in need. The Edge's Allison Mitchell shows us how EdTech students can help too.
Here at EdTech, the National Technical Honor Society and Business Professionals of America have come together to raise awareness for Mission 22.
Mission 22 is an organization dedicated to helping America's veterans. They help provide support and fundraising efforts to help support them after they've come home.
Mission 22 is able to prevent lives from being taken away.
Because there's a lot of, unfortunately, veteran suicide. We average 22 veterans a day that commit suicide, so it's very important to help assist this organization in battling against that and helping veterans and their families get the help that they need.
The organizations have come together with one goal in mind.
Our goal is to simply spread awareness and make sure that these foundations and these ways how they can get help get the funding that they truly need.
NTHS and BPA have come up with a fundraising idea to spread awareness.
We are asking all staff and students that are able to donate 22 cents on February 22nd, which is this Monday. Ideally on that day, just the significance of the 22 or prior or after, and we're going to collect all that money and we're going to send it to Mission 22.
Our goal is to collect donations and raise awareness.
I think it's important to educate people and raise awareness for it so that the word gets out that, these people that give their life and come back, they still suffer. Whether it might not be physical injuries, it may still be mental.
NTHS and BPA are only asking students to bring in 22 cents. That may not seem like a lot, but together we can make a big impact. Reporting for The Edge, I'm Allison Mitchell.
2020 has been a difficult year for everyone, and we've had to adapt in many areas of our lives, from the ways we learn to the ways we shop, and even the ways many run their businesses. The Edge's Tony O'Rourke gives us a closer look at what one of our local businesses has gone through during this uncertain year.
Everything has changed because of the pandemic, especially small businesses. All restaurants in Michigan have had to close down indoor dining. Some stores had to limit the number of shoppers, and hairdressers and their clients must wear face masks. Steve O'Rourke owns SOS Insulation in Clifford, Michigan. He insulates residential homes. The COVID-19 pandemic has also had an impact on how he does his business.
We just had to be a little more social distance, and we typically wear all the protection stuff at work anyway, so it hasn't changed a lot really.
One thing that did change is prior to the pandemic, Steve and his crew wore N95 masks. They had to change to another mask because those were no longer available. But the pandemic isn't the only thing that small businesses have to worry about.
Every day I worry about my business.
Finding work was already difficult enough, and now many people have lost their jobs because of COVID-19.
Just having work, the economy, if I'm making money, losing money, owing people money.
For now, Steve's one of the lucky ones. His company is still finding work, but there are many other businesses that can't, and some businesses might never open their doors again. Reporting for The Edge, I'm Tony O'Rourke.
It seems that's all the time we have left for this edition of The Edge. Make sure you stay safe, mask up, wash your hands, and remember to follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at The Edge LC. From us here at The Edge, have a good night.
Now we're going to tell you about how we created it. First off, to talk about pre-production, we have Allison Mitchell.
Thank you, Daniel. For pre-production, we first started off with our news meeting. Unfortunately, we were on a shutdown during our first news meeting, so we did it via Zoom. Next, we go into our equipment checklist. For our equipment checklist, it was important for us to have that because when we were filming, if we were face-to-face or not face-to-face, we wanted to make sure that we didn't waste any time when we went out and got B-roll or got interviews. So we had an equipment checklist to make sure we had everything that we needed. Next will be our production schedule. As you can see, in November and December, it was very spread out. That was when we were on our shutdown. Then we got the judges' notes back, and in February, we made some notes of what we needed to redo and refilm. And we have times for that. Here's the interview questions that Tony and I had created for our smaller packages. As you can see, we have 6 to 7 interview questions each, just to kind of get a good variety so we can get good sound bites from those. And finally, we come into Rundown Creator. For Rundown Creator, it's a software that we are allowed to use that keeps us organized. We can upload it and use it for our teleprompter, so when the anchor Daniel goes to read, he knows exactly what to say. And it also allows Autumn to stay organized, who was our director, when she's telling which scenes to go back and forth to.
Thank you. Working as the anchor was a lot of fun during this production, and to tell you about how I did as the anchor and how the rest of us performed our jobs to create this production, we have Tony O'Rourke.
Thank you, Danny. So for production, we created the packages at home during the initial shutdown. Now, the packages included interviews, transcripts we had to write up, B-roll, we edited that all together. And we did all this at home because we were shut down because of the COVID situation. Now, it was tough at first, but then we got used to it. You know, we had to carry all of our equipment ourselves and all of that. We didn't have any backup or teammates to help us figure out what looked good, what didn't. So it was difficult, but we figured it out. And then once we got the packages and came back from the break, we were able to do the actual broadcast in the studio. Now, the broadcast has a lot of people and a lot of help with our classmates to make sure that it's a good video. So the director, which was Autumn, mocked up the script, told us what to do when, how, why. The studio, we set up the cameras, the lighting, all of that ourselves. Allison was on the TriCaster, which was technical director. I was on the teleprompter myself. Danny, as he said, was the anchor. We had someone out there telling him what to do. We had someone on audio and like the frame name plates. It was a nice team effort. I think it worked really well and it came together quite good, I would say.
Thank you, Tony. And last but not least, to tell you about how we brought all of that together in our post-production, we have Autumn Hardwell.
Thank you, Daniel. During the production process, we didn't really have a typical post-production time period. Instead of taking all of the elements that we had created and putting them all together in an editing software, we used our TriCaster, which is a computer that we use to edit live productions. And I was personally the director of this production, as stated before. So while we were recording the live show, I was behind the scenes with the script from Rundown Creator, letting the anchor know when to start talking, when to play the intro, the packages, when to roll the music and put on graphics. And then this is our music license that we use the music in our introduction and our credits, and we get that from Storyblocks. We use Premiere Pro to edit all of our packages. Both of the reporters, Allison and Tony, use this at home to put all of their packages together. And lastly, this is After Effects. We use this to create our intro. This is a visual effects and graphics editor.
Thank you so much. All of this came together to make a truly good newscast